Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Going Zero Waste YouTube channel. I'm Catherine Kellogg, and today we're going to be taking a historical look at how on earth Halloween festivities went from humble origins to the ultra-consumer craziness we have today. Most of this just results in a lot of junk, clutter, and waste. Terrifying. I think Halloween is regarded as most people's favorite holiday, so let me know if it's your favorite. And if not, what is your favorite holiday? Also, 10 bonus points to anyone who can correctly guess my favorite holiday. So Halloween as we know it today traces back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. This has been celebrated for 2,000 years in Ireland, the UK, and northern France. Samhain marked the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter when it was believed that spirits roamed the earth to protect themselves. The Celts would wear disguises, often made from animal skins or natural elements to ward off any malevolent spirits. Now, as Christianity spread, the church merged Samhain with All Hallows Eve, which was the night before All Saints' Day on November 1st, transforming the pagan holiday into a Christian tradition. Which honestly, I find to be really entertaining because I grew up in a super Christian household where the celebration of Halloween was completely forbidden. We couldn't go out at all, even to church on that day. So, I don't know. I find that to be interesting. My mother would definitely disagree with it being considered a more Christianized holiday today. So the costumes, which once represented spirits, have now evolved to include saints, angels, and demons. Now, by the 16th century, guising became a tradition, which people, often children, going door to door in exchange for food or money as a precursor to the modern trick-or-treating. Now, these early costumes were simple DIY affairs, often using old clothes or making masks from available materials. Halloween started gaining popularity in the US around the 19th century, and there were a lot of homemade papier-mâché masks and simple outfits featuring folklore characters like witches and ghosts. Now, fancy dress parties have been a thing for a very, very long time, but those weren't limited to just Halloween. And those costumes could be very, very expensive. Clothing wasn't viewed disposably like we view it today. Now, by the early 20th century, a few commercial Halloween costumes were starting to become available, but the aim wasn't to necessarily resemble a specific character, but to hide your identity, especially for kids and teens who played tricks and caused a lot of mischief on Halloween. In fact, in 1933, the pranks got so out of hand, there was discussion on banning the holiday. Instead, they decided to keep the holiday, but reframe it a little bit with the idea of keeping kids entertained to try and curb the vandalism. This new focus also led to a lot of new types of costume for kids. As the focus of Halloween shifted, now costumes were starting to see characters from favorite radio shows or comics, and it was less about an abstract representation of creatures of the night, and instead things that kids found to be really, really popular. So department stores like Sears began selling these box costumes for kids, but even then these were still considered kind of a luxury, and a lot of parents made the costumes for their children at home. Now, by the 1950s, mass-produced costumes became more affordable, allowing kids to dress up even more. This is when we start seeing a lot of princesses and mummies and clowns and Batmans and Frankensteins and tons of different characters. And in the 1970s, Halloween costumes for adults became more readily available and really began to take on more adult themes. For instance, the very popular presidential masks. And now the commercialization of Halloween has truly exploded. The 1970s and 80s marked the beginning of Halloween as we really know it today. An industry-driven holiday with a strong emphasis on mass-produced costumes, decorations, and candy. This transformation was fueled in part by the growth of television, film, and pop culture, with consumers increasingly wanting to dress up as their favorite characters from movies, TV shows, and comic books. Enter the world of Spirit Halloween. Now, I don't think I've actually entered a Spirit Halloween since I was in high school, but this started out as a single storefront in California, but now, of course, they are popping up all over. This is a seasonal store that pops up and only operates during the Halloween season in mostly large, vacated retail spaces. It's something that hits after the back-to-school rush, but before the Christmas rush. They specifically tap into the growing demand for convenient and ready-made costumes. Consumers no longer have to spend a lot of time or effort in making their Halloween costumes because they can simply go in and purchase a full costume for themselves, their children, or as a family. Costumes are now things that really reflect pop culture trends, and Spirit can provide in real time superheroes, movie characters, spooky creatures, and all sorts of novelty outfits that you can just go in and immediately pick up. And apparently this has been so popular that they've now expanded into Christmas. Yes, that's right. Spirit Christmas is a new venture that aims to bring the same pop-up retail experience to the Christmas season. The store sells festive Christmas decorations and maybe costumes or accessories for people who are looking to embrace the holiday season. I'm really wondering if we're going to be seeing any other Spirit, maybe Spirit Valentine's Day, maybe Spirit Easter. Everyone can dress up like the Easter Bunny.
Oh, isn't that cute? That is the most precious thing I've ever seen in my life.
Now, of course, the costumes they sell are not very well made. They're really only meant to last for one night. And honestly, I think that they're still kind of expensive for that. So despite the obvious environmental concerns surrounding their business model, the production of single-use costumes and decorations that are often discarded after one season, Spirit Halloween and similar pop-up stores continue to thrive. Now, the internet has also played a monumental role in accelerating the commercialization of holidays and of Halloween. The rise of online shopping platforms, social media, and influencer marketing has drastically changed the way people approach costumes and Halloween decor. Retailers like Amazon, Shein, Temu, Fashion Nova, and others have become really popular destinations for customers looking for fast, cheap, and trendy costumes. These online retailers, often known for their fast fashion approach, churn out low-quality costumes made from synthetic materials like polyester, often at prices that are too low to resist, which honestly I could argue aren't really that inexpensive, especially when a lot of the sustainable alternatives come much cheaper. So beyond just these environmental concerns, the costumes look awful. I would much rather have one really cool looking costume than wear something cheap, itchy, and support unethical working conditions of garment makers. The internet has allowed trends to spread at lightning speed, with platforms like TikTok and Instagram serving as a breeding ground for Halloween costume ideas and inspiration. Now, influencers certainly play a huge role in pushing fast fashion costumes, often featuring multiple costume changes throughout the holiday season to keep their content fresh and engaging. Now, so many of these trendy fast fashion costumes really rely on impulse buying, high volume, low cost production, and these companies operate without really any regard for sustainability or ethical labor practices. And their focus on keeping prices low mean that they cut corners in almost every aspect of production. The result is a product that is not only harmful to the environment, but also to the workers who produce it. These costumes are made without any regard for quality or sustainability. Polyester, the most commonly used material in these costumes, is derived from petroleum and isn't biodegradable. This means these costumes, when discarded after Halloween, they contribute to the growing problem of textile waste. The environmental impact of fast fashion costumes extends beyond the material itself. The production of these costumes requires significant resources, from water and energy to raw materials and the transportation involved in shipping millions of costumes worldwide. The perceived low cost of these costumes also means they're treated as disposable, which further just feeds into the cycle of overconsumption and waste. 7 million Halloween costumes are thrown out every year, which is the equivalent to 83 million plastic bottles, most of which will just end up in the landfill.
Spirit Halloween. When you need us, we'll be here.
For 6 weeks.
Because on November 1st, we're gone. And all this junk will be in a dumpster.
So what are some sustainable alternatives to costumes? Well, I am so glad you asked, because I am a costume lover. I'm a pro, kind of. I have helped with costumes for a ton of musicals and plays, and can guarantee that you can find a much better deal than fast fashion and look way better. Now, I am an influencer, I am on Instagram, and I do post a lot of costumes during this time of year, but I don't buy any of mine from Amazon or Shein or Fashion Nova or Forever 21. Instead, I love to dress up, but in a little bit more sustainable way. And here's how you can adopt some of these practices. And I promise you are going to look so much better, and you can do it cheaper. Step 1 is to simply shop your own closet. Now, I've been running something called the Costume Closet. I've been running something called the Costume Closet Challenge for I think 5 years now, where I simply take different pieces of clothing from my closet and then I restyle them to create a costume. And there are so many instances of this, and I will throw up, that's probably not the best term. I will share with you a few so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, once you cobble together some of these costumes, you might need an accessory or two to really complete the look. And buying 1 or 2 accessories that you can reuse over and over again is something that's going to be a lot more sustainable than buying a full brand new costume. As a bonus, you also won't be leaving behind a lot of clutter because these are pieces that you would ideally be using in your everyday life. Buffy is another one that I really had a ton of fun creating. I love all of these. I really truly can't pick my favorite, but I do think that Clue would be such a good group costume, and all anyone needs is just the color of their choice, and that would be so much fun to do with a group of people. Risky Business also, I mean, if you're looking for something a little bit sexier, I definitely think Risky Business is the way to go. But, you know, that same white button-down shirt could be used to be Holly Golightly from Breakfast at Tiffany's. But you would need the blue eye mask, which I'm sure you could make very, very easily. Recently, this year, I also decided to take a bunch of stuff that I already owned and created a bunch of environmentally themed costumes. Talk about a conversation starter. Really simply, I whipped up a recycling bin costume. I think anyone can make that one, but probably my favorite was making the litter bug. I'm a bug! And you can't tell me that these costumes don't look so much better than anything you'd buy at Spirit Halloween. There's also no rule saying that you have to dress up as something different every year. I would much rather invest in one really, really high quality costume that I can wear over and over and over again. Because honestly, I also just don't like looking cheap. You can also rent a costume. Renting a costume is a great way to enjoy a high quality outfit without the impact of buying a new one. And a lot of costume rental shops offer a wide range of options. Now, my all-time favorite way is supporting your local theaters. Many theaters do costume sales each year to raise money. It's a great way to find unique, high-quality costumes at extremely affordable prices. And you can also support your local community arts. These costumes are made to last with really durable materials and often great craftsmanship to ensure they can be worn multiple times. I have gone to so many of these and have found some truly, truly incredible pieces. And it's also so inexpensive. It is shockingly inexpensive. Here was a recent haul that I just did for the MSMT costume sale. I was able to find so many pieces that I actually just wanted for my everyday wardrobe. It's a great place to find wigs, accessories, and even dance shoes. So if you're interested in taking any dance classes, you can pick up shoes at such a good price. I got a pair of boots for $10. I got a pair of new tap shoes for $10. And I also got a pair of jazz shoes for $5. They had so many amazing ballroom shoes, and there wasn't a show that I knew I could wear them in, so I wound up passing, but man, their ballroom shoes were absolutely incredible. So many fun colors. I've been wanting a white kind of peasant skirt, and they had one that was so perfect, and it was $10. I got a gray wool skirt for $10. I bought so much, and it was all $35. It was such a good deal. So find your local theaters, follow them on Instagram or on their social media platforms, and make sure you stay in touch so that way you know whenever they're having their costume sales. Now, if you have the DIY gene or are interested in sewing, making your own costume is so fun. You can use materials you already have, you can repurpose old items, you can create a costume that's both unique and sustainable. These DIY costumes also allow for a lot of greater creativity and personalization, making them a great option if you want to stand out in the crowd. Also, if you're just getting into sewing, this is a great way to practice your sewing skills. In fact, one of the ways that I've become better at sewing is by volunteering at theaters and helping out with costumes, because a costume only has to look good from 10 feet away. So it doesn't matter if your seams aren't exactly perfect. So this is one of the best ways to really get into, a bit more of a sustainable practices for your wardrobe on the whole, is just by working on costumes. Now, DIY is not your thing, your local theater's not having a sale this year, then I would like to recommend to you the thrift store. So the thrift stores have so many costumes that have come from places like Amazon and Spirit Halloween, and they have so many of them, and some of them have never even been worn. So instead of running to Spirit Halloween, maybe make the first stop your local thrift store. I promise you there is something that you'll be able to pick up pretty quickly. Let me know how you'll be dressing for Halloween this year. My dad is having a pirate wedding, so I will be going as a mermaid, and Justin will be going as a pirate, and my grandma is going as a parrot. So there's going to be lots of fun costumes, I think, involved at this wedding, and I think that's kind of my version of Halloween this year. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, press that big red subscribe button to be notified when new videos are coming out, and I will see you in the next video.